remember Yakov Smirnoff, bruh?
Hell yeah. Shout out to Yakov. He's actually been making the rounds lately. Yeah, that's
Man,
dope.
Yakov Smirnoff pulled up and checked out the show on Saturday and came back in the green room and was man and we had a great just conversation, just talking shop, talking about his
Right.
era, talking about all of the things that he's got to go through and where he's been over these
Yep.
years. And
Yep.
man, it was incredible. And then we had such a good time. We talked for such a long time. He was like, "Yo, would you mind if I bring my podcast material here, and after the show, we sit down and do a podcast together. I want to talk to you about some, about comedy and all that good stuff." I was like, "Are you kidding me, bruh?
Say less.
Are you kidding me?" It's like, man,
Hell
you gotta
yeah.
show people their flowers, but it's like, I mean, that's like Rodney Dangerfield's,
Yep.
young comics. That's
Exactly.
that's commercials throughout
That's
the
80s,
'80s. That's
80s
our
comedy store, like with Dice, with Sam Kinison. Like he was the only like Russian comedian from the 80s. And during that Cold War era,
yeah.
when what we thought about Russia and we were in this silent war and all kind of like now, but in the silent thing, like he was the one representation. He was the only thing Russian that we knew for a bunch of years until Ivan Drago came out. But
Right.
like
Right.
uh Yakov Smirnoff was in and he was funny.
He was
Like
funny. He was
yeah.
funny. And so I just, man, I told him, I get a chance to tell people, man. I tell him right in his face how, just give him his flowers.
Facts.
And tell him, because he was like, legend. I don't know why the legend. He's like, I don't feel comfortable with that. He was like, what does that even mean? And I have a clear definition of what I define as a legend. To me, a legend is somebody who dominated an era. Like, he
Mhm.
dominated an era. He was on the Tonight Show, the late night circuit for years,
Mhm.
many, many times. And then he came back and did it again for the first time in like 40 years, just a couple weeks ago.
Yep. And yeah, one of the early ones that Johnny Carson called to the desk, called to the couch after a set. And back in the time when you was a star overnight, if that happened for you.
Yeah.